In front of me, I have a spectacular piece of U.S. military history. A prototype Pedersen Model GX rifle, serial number 1. One of only possibly a dozen ever made. Between this and the next variation called the GY. This GX in front of me, serial 1, was designed by John Pedersen in an attempt to compete with what was adopted as the M1 Garand rifle. And this was finalized and developed around 1939, and this was his attempt to get back at the government for him losing out to what was the M1 Garand with his previous toggle lock rifle, the T1 Pedersen. So this was a stab at Garand in a sense, because he took Garand's platform and added extra features to it in an attempt to improve it. This has a telescoping bolt rather than the Garand's standard one-piece bolt. It has a cooling finned barrel, and this uses, being a GX, it uses the earlier gas trap system up front, which was what the M1 Garand originally used when it was adopted in 1936. The GY was made with a gas port system after this. So these GX rifles, the few surviving examples, likely didn't see much testing. It's said they tested what was likely the GY in around 1943, so it took quite a few years for the Springfield Armory to even set their eyes on this. It got turned down fairly quickly, and I can kind of imagine why, just looking at the gun. It is a pretty complex gun. There's a lot going on here. I imagine it would have costed quite a bit more to machine all these fine parts and pieces on this as opposed to the M1 Garand. It was a little simpler, likely less parts. This, being a GX, uses John Pedersen's proprietary end block clip. And you can see down inside of the receiver here, there will be shape differences between this and the GY that came after it, because this uses Pedersen's own clip. The GY used the M1 Garand's adopted end block clip. There is speculation that John Pedersen was the first to possibly design what was used as that end block clip system. He was the first to do it, and the government saw his design and took it and made a government patent for the end block clip. And so that was one thing that likely he wanted to come back and make it with his own clip again for the GX, but had to conform with the GY just to try to get it in front of them, because at that point he had already lost and the government owned that patent. Except he did fight it in court and got a nice little settlement out of it. This gun in front of me is as rare as it gets for a U.S. military semi-automatic rifle, and it's a very important piece in the story of the development of the semi-automatic rifle as we know it. Using this telescoping bolt, this is similar to what you see in stuff like the AK-47 later. And it really works smooth as butter here. I mean, it's a nice gun. It's a nice platform. It's got this beautiful sight on it, fully adjustable, all the bells and whistles. As one of the rarest pieces of U.S. military history, it's not very often you can get your opportunity to actually come see this on our preview day before the December 9th, 10th, and 11th premiere auction. And you can get a chance to bid on it as well. This is likely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own serial number 1 Pedersen Model GX rifle.